Welcome to our conversations with AI leaders in Africa. My name is Zenzele Ndlovu. I am the head of research at Machine Learning Africa. Please check out our upcoming event, the AI in Healthcare Summit. You can register for free on aiinhealthcare.co.za. Thank you.
Hello everyone, welcome to our weekly webinar or our video recording where we speak with organizations and business leaders in South Africa who are working in the field of smart technology, artificial intelligence, robotic process automation, machine learning, and the like. And I know I repeat myself every time I do this intro, and I will not stop doing it, but I keep on being amazed at the amount of organizations locally, often that we don't know about because we think they're all in Silicon Valley, but locally who are doing incredible work. And today we've got a very special guest and we can talk about AI and decision making and things like that. But Zenzele, I'm going to ask you to please introduce our guest to us today.
Thank you so much, Johan. Today we are very pleased to be hosting Marom Mishan. He's very passionate about the transformative power of machine learning. And Marom holds a bachelor's degree in actuarial science and statistics, and is an AI technologist and director of Elucidate AI and Sourcefin. Marom, welcome to our conversations with AI leaders in Africa.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm honored to be here.
Awesome. And thank you so much for joining us. Marom, as someone who did actuarial science, you would expect you to be working in the insurance industry, for example, calculating, annuity calculations or projections on retirement benefit obligations and all those things. But you are involved in AI and machine learning. Why that route, and how did you find yourself in this space?
So I guess most of my colleagues did go the traditional insurance routes and the traditional actuarial route. For me, even as a student, while I was in university, I realized early on that wasn't my passion. I loved the maths and the stats of it, but not the traditional actuarial stuff. And I guess when I first got into machine learning, I did a course by Andrew Ng, who's who teaches a couple of courses on Coursera and is unbelievable. Yeah. And I just loved that. I think it was like an 11-week course. I got so into it that I barely slept. I just did the whole thing in like 2 weeks, and it was the most fun experience for me. So, and I guess since then I've just been in the space and learning more and more.
Awesome. I want to ask you two things, Marom. Firstly, the name Elucidate.ai. It just feels good to say it. It's such a nice word. I have no idea what it means. So the first question is, how did you get to the name? And secondly, if you have 1 or 2 minutes to tell anyone about what the company does, would you answer that question?
Absolutely. So elucidate means to make things clear. And that's what I feel that I think in a space where AI is seen as a black box and as something that's extremely opaque, and you just see some funky result out of a machine that you don't understand. I think it should be the opposite. My view is that it should help make very complex things very simple for humans. So that's the thing on the name, and a lot of people have actually asked what it means. So I think my investors, when I first pitched the name, they sent me a meme about Elucidate and what it means. But so it's quite a common one, but it's a great conversation starter when we're with clients. In terms of what the company does, so We help companies, usually corporate. Sometimes we've done some stuff with foreign governments and some venture-backed startups as well, in a range of different spaces with machine learning-based solutions. What we focus on is credit. We do a lot in credit and general financial technology space. I think we power about 1 million decisions in credit today. And in marketing as well, we power quite a lot of decisions per day. I think somewhere around the range of 2 million a day. And call centers has been sort of a space we've been pushing into in the last couple of months, which has been really interesting. And I think where we play specifically is it's not just like, here's data, please give us a report. It's more in the actual decision making. So it's usually systems talking to systems and actually powering actual decisions.
Okay, now that's quite interesting, Marom, what you do. And you know, as a practitioner, obviously in the AI space, you have an understanding in terms of the adoption of this technology in South Africa and the international markets as well. Maybe my question will be, how do we fare in terms of the adoption or the understanding of artificial intelligence and all these technologies? Do you think that there is a clear understanding of the technology in the local market and the adoption? Do you think that the pace at which we are adopting these technologies is in the right direction, or is it at the right pace?
So I think for me, I'll just talk more from a personal experience or just what we've experienced in various conversations opposed to the actual statistics. And what we found is that I think most executives are becoming very open to the idea of machines making decisions or playing a role in the decision-making space and in very complex tasks. What I do still find is that there's sometimes some sort of mismatch where they think AI is going to be this, they confuse the AI of today with artificial general intelligence, where they think it's going to like solve all the problems and it's a silver bullet that will do absolutely everything and they'll just throw AI at things. So we still find that confusion. I don't think it's just a South African thing. I actually think it's a local and international. I found this quite a bit. Yeah, I think that's something to keep in mind. I'm happy to dig into it a little bit later. What's really the difference and where I think AI has the potential to actually add value to businesses. And I think just in terms of adoption, we're seeing, like I said, we're seeing quite a lot of openness here. So people are open to trying things and letting machines make decisions. What I'm finding is, though, that a lot of companies will have had some sort of proof of concepts or some sort of initiatives they might have tried internally or with the wrong parties, and sometimes it doesn't pan out, and sometimes it's just because it was misguided or going at the right target. So that does lead to some hesitance, which is something I found. But I mean, in general, quite a lot of openness towards AI in South Africa. I'm quite positive about it. It makes me happy to see that executives are open to considering it and seeing where it will add value.
Marom, you've just said a few things that make me feel like a little child jumping up and down and say, "Pick me, pick me." And but we don't have all that much time. So before we get to the last question that my partner in crime, Zenzele, will pose, but I want to ask you again a two-pronged question. The first is, and you've alluded to it, this view from especially business leaders about what AI and related technologies can do. What I have found in my consulting career is that a big part of what I need to do is to educate my clients about what this is and what it's not. So the first question is that also your experience? And secondly, maybe for our viewers, very briefly, what is artificial general intelligence and when do you think we'll get there? Let me leave you with that.
Sure. So I'll maybe answer your second question first. So artificial general intelligence is, it's I guess for all intents and purposes, for most people to understand, it's like a machine that could reason just like a human, and if it had a human form, it would be able to make decisions and understand things the way humans do, or somewhat close. It's really where it's intelligent across multiple domains, not just in some very narrow way. Whereas the AI of today is mostly intelligent in a very narrow way. So not to downplay it, I think it's very valuable in some sense. So I think anywhere where you are having high volume of decision making, like for example, if you're making decisions on 50 clients, you as a human could make the decision yourself. You don't need AI to do that. When it becomes like 1 million clients or something like that, that's like no human can keep that. Like you can't just keep that information in your head and make intelligent decisions on it. But if you narrow the task down on those 1 million clients, say, when should I market to client to maximize conversion probability, to maximize sales, for example. In that sense, that's where AI really excels. So using a lot of data, it's able to learn and identify and solve that specific things. Does it mean that it's understood the message that you're going, or does it understand your brand? No, unlikely, not today's. But in that narrow task, it would excel.
Yeah, Marom, I think the last question that I would like to ask is the future as far as AI is concerned in South Africa. And of course, we'd like to know about the future plans of Elucidate AI. What are some of the exciting stuff that we should look out for in the future?
Right. So it's a big question. So I'll give it here my best guess. I think the future of AI, at least, so I think on the artificial general intelligence that we mentioned, it's conceptually we're very far from it. Even though, which might mean in time it could not be that far. Who knows? I wouldn't venture a guess, but conceptually we are very far from that. And where I think AI is going next in SA and the world, I think sort of along the same lines, is where solutions are going to become more and more specific to problems. So a lot of it's going to be standardized to the point where it's there's going to be a lot more software as a service solutions helping utilizing AI to provide better service. For example, that might mean better chatbots that are specific to a certain use case, or credit modeling as a service, or something along those lines. And I think for Elucidate, and where I see us fitting, is we're doing a lot of great work, a lot in natural language processing, so actually making sense of text in the financial space, and education and a few other spaces. But where I see us going forward is partnering with amazing enterprises and working together to build to build solutions together for various use cases. And I think financial technology is one of the main ones that we're looking at, and customer service as another one. I think they're two things that are going to be very important for growth, especially in Africa. I think it's something that's exceptionally important. Access to finance and customer service is also something that's important to companies, and it's something I'm personally very passionate about.
Yeah.
That's incredible, Marom. It's, you make us proud. You have to keep up the good work, no pressure. We need African solutions for African challenges and problems. On the one hand, commerce-related problems, but also societal problems. So it was such a pleasure to speak with you. Thank you for explaining everything in such a beautiful way. We are definitely going to keep an eye out on Elucidate. I love that name. Love it, love it, love it. And we wish you all the very best, and thank you for joining Zenzele and I for this time.
Thank you for having me.